Hey there, welcome to Know Your Vibes Astrology. I'm Katie Turner, and today we're talking about why your attention is so valuable and why it's the greatest gift you can really give to yourself, or one of the great gifts you can give to yourself. There's plenty of gifts we give to ourselves, but essentially, everywhere we go, people are vying for our attention. We see this through billboards and magazines, advertisements. We see this on social media. We see this on the internet. We see this with all the notifications and dings in our society. People are constantly vying for our attention. And they wouldn't do that if your attention wasn't important. If your attention didn't matter, if your attention didn't mean something. But it does. It does mean a lot, actually. And so today I'm making this video to talk to you about your attention and ask you some questions, some self-inquiry, self-reflection around how does attention show up for you in your life? Do you give yourself your attention? Do you find your attention pulled elsewhere? Do you find it hard to maintain attention to yourself and being present with yourself? Do you find it hard to be with uncomfortable emotions or uncomfortable situations? Are you someone who's quick to want to fill that up with some kind of experience? How is it when you are called to pay attention to yourself? Do you feel like you give yourself enough attention in life? Do you feel like you are tending to your hopes and your dreams, your desires, the things you want to create? Are you attending to your needs? Are you attending to where, you have fears and worries? Are you attending to your dreams and your hopes and your desires? Are you attending to that whole spectrum? Because the things we give attention to grow. And if we are constantly giving ourselves attention to social media and to outsourced sources who are really, really good at calculating how to give you the perfect amount of serotonin to keep you happy and joyful in that moment, but not enough long-term support to really make sure you're good, well-being wise, deep inside of you. So when you notice those uncomfortable emotions, how do you respond? Do you feel okay giving yourself your space? I really want to invite you to consider each day for just 30 minutes or so, how can you cultivate attention towards yourself? This could be, just sitting quietly with yourself, focusing on your breathing. This could be tapping into your wants and your needs and doing something to meet those. This can be planning, your vision board and dreaming up what you want for yourself. This could be reaching out for help from a friend if you need to, journaling, doing a bodied practice, cooking food for you, just speaking with yourself and listening with yourself and being there with yourself. Give yourself that gift, because constantly people are wanting you and your attention and are doing what they can to keep you attending to them. Think about Instagram and Facebook and social media and all of those apps, right? They're all designed to keep your attention towards them. How can you fight back and own your own attention? How can you own your own energy and put it towards what you want? Because while those short-term fixes are going to really help us not feel uncomfortable or discomfort when it comes to emotions, it will help us, get that serotonin energy we need in that moment, it's not going to long-term sustain us. It's not going to treat us well long-term. And this is something you may be familiar with. If you are someone who has a long relationship with social media, maybe you needed to take breaks, or you wanted to take breaks, or notice that you get too deep into them where you start to feel yucky and ucky and need to do something about that. And so giving yourself your attention is the biggest gift you can do, and I really invite you to do that this week. How can you give yourself your attention, and what does that look like? What does that mean for you? If it is hard to make that time and carve that time out for yourself, I really highly recommend pre-planning and use that as your first, day, or maybe your first day of the week. Pre-plan and your you time, and give attention to what are your goals, what are your desires, what needs do you need to be met, what are your key hygiene areas when it comes to social care, financial, practical, self-care, emotions, spiritual, mental health, all those areas. How can you kind of maintain hygiene in all those spaces? How can you make sure you have fun? How can you, give priority to that space? And beyond social media vying for our time and attention, we do also have other people who vie for our time and attention. Especially if you are someone who's empathetic and compassionate and a giver, then someone's going to really enjoy being at the receiving end of your attention, because that means you're giving and taking care of them. So playing with our attention and playing with how we give ourselves our attention back really does require us to tap into our boundaries. And how do we say no to other people, to technology, to our phones? Do we put our phones on do not disturb? Do we tell our friends when we have no more energy or space to give, or when it is our time, even if we do have energy to give, but it's our time and it's not an emergency or anything like that, you know, can we tell them, hey, maybe later this weekend or something, you know, we can work with that. Or when you have a plan for yourself, you know, can you tell other people no if they try to take from you? And then also too, setting boundaries with yourself. So when it comes to anything we want to change in our lives, like giving ourselves more attention, or, you know, goals we want to manifest, and attention is our mechanism to manifest those goals, commitment goes a really long way. And one way that we maintain commitment with ourselves is by honoring our boundaries with ourselves and enforcing boundaries with ourselves. Boundaries aren't walls, so it's not always a brick, you know, we're not doing this, but boundaries are rules and lines and parameters of what is okay and what's not okay, what's healthy and what's not healthy. And so if you are finding yourself in the space where you're putting someone else's attention above your own, or their love above your own, if you're finding yourself maybe really wishing your partner would give you more attention or more love and you're not getting that, or wishing you weren't alone, which during this pandemic is definitely a really big hot topic, you know, how can you create the space to tend to the self and give the attention to the self and draw those boundaries and not allow yourself to turn to those easy fixes, those quick fixes of other people, or to not allow yourself to put the approval or the love or the affection from someone else above yourself. You know, you are enough to love yourself and to support yourself and to keep you safe. Everyone else is just an extension of that and an added benefit. So really honoring that for yourself. And when you do that, how does your relationship to attention change? To me, this is a very important concept and topic right now, just because of how we're in this very interesting time period with where social media is and how our attention spans are really shifting and changing. There's more and more conversations about things like ADHD and dealing with attention, and coming from the psychology aspect of things, not speaking on ADHD or anything like that, but attention is kind of the central focus to everything that we experience. Our experiences, there's so much out there in the world, and our attention determines what we focus on. We couldn't focus on everything. That would just be impossible. And so when we tune into our attention and we use our attention intentionally, then we get to have a say over what of this experience we get to enjoy. And that's kind of one of the things that to me really matters with this, is like, at the end of the day, are you going to feel like you wasted a lot of your time and attention on things that weren't for you? Either people pleasing and doing things for other people on social media, scrolling through those things, or do we give our attention to things that you want to see progress and growth in? Do you feel like at the end of the day, okay, I gave the attention of myself to my business or to my body or to my relationships, and those are things I want to see grow. You have the power and control to do that. And if your attention wasn't so important and valuable, we wouldn't see there being, jobs out there whose whole responsibility is to figure out how to make you return your attention to a platform or an idea or a tool of some sort. So really, really focus on how is your attention important to you, and how do you use your attention for yourself? And if you need shifts, make shifts. If you need help, reach out in the comments, let me know. And let me know about your relationship with attention and how that journey has been for you. The more we can kind of channel our focus, even if it's difficult, and it will be difficult, even if it's hard, the better. And this is with a total acknowledgement that when we do channel that focus and attention, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes we get painful emotions that come up that we have to sit through and process and be with, and that's okay. We have the ability to do that. There's nothing in your system that you can't handle, that you can't move through, even if, you have to reach out for help and stuff. There's help out there that you can move through that. So yeah, be compassionate with yourself, give yourself that attention, and know that it's important. It matters. It makes a difference. If it didn't make a difference, people would not be trying to get it from you. So really, really invest in yourself first. Of course, it doesn't mean you can't, not use social media. I use social media for personal and for business reasons. It's a great way to connect to people and spread ideas and share tips and insight and reach out for help and get support and be supported and support other people. And so it's this great tool. But make sure it's a tool working for you and not just something that is taking your attention from you. If you like this video and want more, please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys next week.